then, Paul? I know we're in Keighley, and I know we're at the cricket pitch because I recognise the posts.
Oh right, yeah, very big cricket stumps have over there, don't they, these days? No, this is actually not a cricket pitch, it's this Keighley Rugby Union Club.
Oh, I can tell by your attire, you're obviously ready for the game.
I am ready for the gear, I've got my bike gear on because this week it's camping. I thought I'd take it on a camping weekend, bike style.
Hang on, camping. So, we're there with the bikes, we've got 3 foot wide flipping sleeping bags and tents and poles sticking out, we've got the primer stove, the pans clanging round as you ride down the road.
No, that depends what bike you ride. This is camping Goldwing style.
I'm joined here by Bob Marx, who's aptly prompt and sat on his own machine, of which I must admit the chrome isn't dazzling my eyes here, Bob. What's the score? This is not the norm at Shiny Goldwing.
Well, some bikes are for riding, some bikes are for showing. This one's for riding. Now and again we do show it, I do clean it up now and again. It would look clean, did look clean 2 weeks since. RAF Waddington on display to the public. We let the public climb on them, no charge. They're amazed by them. It's brilliant.
Well, amazing thing about it, this thing's been all over Europe, hasn't it? You've been just about everywhere.
This particular bike has been in 19 different countries, including North Africa, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, and your normal European countries where every other weekend, some years, you know. Yeah, well travelled.
It sounds like it, and I'll have enough trouble just going up to Scarborough, you know. I have a map and I get lost on the way back. You're a bit of a sort of a major man behind all this. You're one of the organising people. Just tell us a bit, to those people who are not go-wingy people, what you get up to at these wing dings.
Well, basically, Great Britain split into 32 regions. Every region needs a representative. I've got my badge on Yorkshire representative, and it's a representative's job to inform the members of events that's going off, albeit they get a monthly magazine. That we set events up like this. I've done 300-400 miles setting this up. I've been up 5 or 6 times from Sheffield. We've set it up, organised, advertised it in the magazine. People come along, as many turn up as want to turn up. I believe we've 201 motorcycles here this weekend.
And I noticed as well, they're in like a bit of it's like a campers paradise. I mean, some of these, I would not classify them as tents, more like canvas villas. Just unbelievable, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the thing is with the Goldwings, we're mostly reborn bikers, the older people. We all pull trailers, which is quite legal in this country to pull a trailer behind a motorcycle. If you're pulling a trailer, you may as well bring a big tent. Be comfortable, have a double bedroom, have a stacked kitchen, a double burner, a table and chairs, and you set yourself up.
You haven't got any room for tonight, have you? It's better than the 4-star hotel that I go in.
The average Goldwing owner is 44-year-old at this moment in time. That's in Great Britain Club. And a lot of people at 44 haven't got young children. But the younger end, we do cater for kids. We have little games for them, but not so much. Mainly it's an adult club.
Oh, right, 44 average. That means then, in another 20-odd years, I could get a Goldwing. I think we better go around and have a look at all these characters that you've got on the wings.
You'd certainly be welcome. Talk to people. They'll all talk to you with open arms. It's a brilliant club. It's a good atmosphere.
Now here's the man responsible for getting everybody here this weekend to the Yorkshire Wing Ding, the man who's organised it all, George Boardman. George, this is your wing. Just tell us a little bit about this. What's this?
Well, it's a 1984 1200 Aspen Cade, registered in April. I bought it when it was 6 months old, and currently it's done about 208,000 miles.
208,000 miles?
208,000. It's slightly less is that because Speedo packed up for about 3 weeks, so
right.
We've got slightly more than that really.
So in what 14 years of ownership almost, and 208,000 miles, you must have had some hefty repair bills, mustn't you?
Well, apart from chrome polish, the biggest bill's been an alternator. It gets cam belts regularly every 30,000 mile. Oil gets changed every 3,000 with filters, and it just has one good service every year. And all the rest of the time I just polish it.
That's a hell of an advert, isn't it, for Goldwings? But I noticed with yours, I mean, looking around the site, there are some bikes that have got lights hanging off them all over and lots of, well, seemingly almost pointless shiny bits all over them. But you've resisted that temptation, haven't you? Why is that?
Well, basically, it's there to ride, not for me to look at, and they draw enough attention without putting anything else on them. It's just temptation for other people to come and mess with them and take bits off, so I just leave it as it is and just ride it.
You've got a few bits, haven't you? But mainly kind of functional bits, like the wind deflectors and things, and the little rack on there.
Yeah,
so
well,
I suppose if there's a point to it, you'll have it. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. The rack is where I clip my CD player onto.
Your CD player?
Yeah, I put a CD player on there so I can have the rats doing.
Is that your phone, or is it the phone on the bike?
No,
it's not got a phone as well, has it? Oh right, we'll lose the phone. Right.
Get rid of that.
And what's CB radio?
Yeah, we have a CB radio so we can contact each other as we're going along. Alternator, ammeter and a voltmeter, purely and simply because when alternator went down, it was a bit puzzling. I couldn't puzzle out why it happened, so I put them on just as panic gauges. Basically, and that's it. Rest are just functional to stop people scratching it when they're getting on and off.
Right. Have you had in the amount of time you've had this? Have you had other bikes as well?
Yeah, I've had a CBX 1000, which were good for white knuckles and telescopic arms. But apart from that, no, this is my first love.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I've got to rephrase that. This is the second love behind the wife, because if she's listening, she'll kill me if she knows this is first one.
Move round a bit. Goldwing is protected. Please move away. Attention! This Goldwing is being stolen. Attention! This Goldwing is being stolen.
Well, there are people who buy Goldwings and do massive mileages on them and just like riding them, and there are people, it would appear, that like to spend more time cleaning them. Graham Whitaker, it would appear that you're one of them. There's more chrome on this than I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like the chrome, I like the look of the bike, but I do enjoy cleaning them. It's therapy. It keeps me out of the pub. Yeah.
Oh, right. But just tell us about this, because it's a bit of a hybrid. It's a special, isn't it?
It is a special, yeah. It took me 2 years to build it, and I've been working on Goldwings for quite a while now. But I like the performance of the 1200 Limited, but I like the handling of the 1500. So what I've done, I've combined them both together to give me what I wanted, and it's worked out well.
Right. So what have we got? 1200 engine.
It's a 1200 in it. Well, it's been overboard actually. It's a 1300 cc. All been gas flowed to give it a bit more performance.
Yeah.
And the front and rear wheels off the 1500. The front suspension's off 1500. The rear suspension's off a 1500. The bike is actually 4 inches longer than a standard 1200.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hell of an feat of engineering, if nothing else.
It did take me 2 years, yeah.
But it's got some interesting bits on it, hasn't it, that you just wouldn't find on any other Goldwing.
That's right, yeah.
So just tell us a bit about some of the gadgets that you've got.
Well, the first gadget is what is more than a necessity, is the windscreen wiper itself.
Oh,
yeah.
A wiper on a bike.
Yeah, because the screens are a lot high, it gives you a lot of protection, rain protection and wind protection, but the only trouble is you have to look through the screen.
Yeah.
But you can't actually look through it when it's raining.
No.
So I incorporated a windscreen wiper on it.
So what's that off, that wiper? Is that off something else?
It's off a Volvo headlamp wiper.
Volvo. That's a bit ironic, isn't it, off a Volvo and bikes?
Yeah.
Knowing how bikers feel about Volvos.
Yeah. Altitude meter.
Altitude meter?
An altitude meter, yeah.
Is that when you go on the mountain passes?
Well,
is that what it's
we had a problem with the limited editions. When you got to a certain altitude, the bike did cut out.
Really?
And that just give you a warning to when you get to a certain altitude.
I've heard it all. I don't believe that. Right,
It is true, yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic and lovely. But can you put a price on this? I mean, this is 2 years of work
Yeah.
and an awful lot of money. What are you going to do with it now?
Sell it.
You're going to sell it?
I'm selling it, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right. So it's more
For
of
another project.
another project, right? Okay. Well, what's that? So go on, give us a price on this.
Well, it's got a colour match trailer with it, which the old system is like £12,000.
12 grand.
12 grand, yeah.
There you are. This can be yours for 12 grand.
It's chains this week, and any engineer will tell you that a chain is one of the most efficient ways of power transmission that you can possibly get. Beautiful piece of engineering, but they operate on a motorbike in absolutely appalling conditions. They're out in rain and salt and sand and anything you want to throw at it. Awful. But the modern chain is a clever bit of kit. There's an old chain from my youth, as it were, just side links like a giant bicycle chain.
It's like
in
keeping
fact,
hair clippings, isn't it? As your little girl grows up, you kept your chains, Jeff.
Listen, there's a little
Sorry.
baby one for you, see. Just a small chain.
What was that off?
Just a little baby bicycle chain. Ah, sweet, isn't it? I thought you'd say that. So there's the beefy chain. That's a section off a chain for the ZZR here. And this is the way the chain's made up. Now, have you heard of O-rings on chains? O-ring chains?
I certainly have now.
Yeah, right, you have now. There's the little O-rings, they're little rubber rings. They're sandwiched between the side plates here. See them? There's a rubber O-ring between every side plate, both sides. Now, the idea of those is to keep the oil within the chain and all the crud outside of the chain. And as you can see on this one that I've taken apart for you, see how good I am for my pupils. There's the O-ring there. That fits in that central bush there, and then the other side plate goes on and that clamps it all up as your chain. Now this bit here is called a roller. That's the bit that interacts with the sprocket. That inner piece there is the pin, and that's the bush down the middle. It's beautiful, isn't it? And it all fits up tight, but as I say, you can see it needs lubrication. Now lots of people, probably yourself, I don't know if you use aerosol chains, cans, there's loads on the market, but you spray oil all over it and you hope for the best, but you don't really know whether it's got in there. But look, this is the important thing. If you don't lubricate your chain and look after the sprockets properly, you're going to be in real trouble. Now there's an example of a very, very worn sprocket there. Can you see the way these teeth are hooked? Can you see that down? See the points on them? What's happened here, the chain has been on the, that's right, and due to the general power output of this one, well, it's the wrong chain for this sprocket, in fact, but in the wear and power transmission, it tends to ride up there, and eventually it'll just jump straight off the sprockets.
Pulled it all around in the right direction.
Yeah,
as well.
that's right. So that one is well and truly shot. This one is a used sprocket, but as you can see, the teeth are still in good order. So that one's perfectly serviceable. That one has had it. So keep an eye on your sprocket teeth.
I did say when we featured brake pads and brake shoes in the shop that we'd have a little trip out, and we're in deepest Derbyshire here at the home of brake pads, Ferodo. These guys know everything there is to know about brake pads, discs and brake shoes, and we're going to go sort of behind the scenes, fly on the wall job and see the day in the life of manufacturing a brake pad. Step this way. So here we go. Now this fella, who they call Fingers, and you can see why, isn't collecting his cream crackers together to make his picnic up for the next week. He is actually collecting together the backing plates, the metal backing plates which are produced elsewhere, to then go over to the place of which they stick the compound on, the actual braking compound. And here we go. Now he's not weighing up a little bit of coffee and making me a brew. This is the actual compound which is accurately weighed and stuffed in this machine, of which in a second, when he places the backing plate on, will go into a huge press which has got some phenomenal tonnage, and it'll stamp that compound, that powder, down in to form a brake pad. Now there's a couple of them doing this at any given time because the machine can cater for two. And here we go. He'll open the door. Let's have a little look. See? There we go. A brake pad. But he doesn't stop at that. That isn't the finished article. What we've got to do now is take it over to the oven. And here's a whole load of it here. Look at that. He's just gone over the yellow line there. The police would have him for that. So he's taking it over to the oven now, of which it'll spend a few hours in. It's a hell of a weight, as you can imagine. There's an awful lot of brake pads on that crate, so he's using his crane. The headphones he's got on, it's not Oasis and a new hit single he's listening to. That's simply there because, as you can imagine, the factory is decidedly noisy. So there we go, the oven's burning away. Mind your fingers, son, now. It's dangerous, you know. There's a lot to it. It's not as simple as it meets the eye here. They obviously take care to work out which brake pads go where, and thickness. And here we go. Matey boy, thumbs up job, right thickness boss, yeah. And he's just got to stick these pads on this grinder, and it takes the top off. And they will then end up at the desired thickness, maybe 9mm, 10mm, whatever. for that particular pad for your bike. This is a car pad making machine. They do it rather more automated than the bikes, but then again they need a few more. These are the finished oven baked and ground down brake pad, and now they need a little prettifying, so he's going to spray them, as you can see, using the fancy method of ionised and electronically gelled brake dust that goes onto here and then get thrown into the oven. They go in and out in ovens like hot cross buns, of course, you know, but come out as brake pads. All this is at the moment at a particularly slow rate. I mean, when these guys get going, when demand requires it, they have to do some serious fast work, and those ovens will be stacked high with the very many brake pads. There we go, nice and shiny black brake pad. This is a bit of a clever machine. It's impressive, this. It's printing the word Ferodo on it. It's not actually stamping it, it sprays it. Look, here we go, and it actually sprays that. There is no contact with the pad at all. I was very impressed with that. And there we are, the brake pad. This is now going to go on the packaging. This is the pretty side that then would come to my shop, of which I would then sell it to you. There's a whole stack of them on one board. It's blister packed, it's sort of heat shrink wrapped, so he'll have to be careful, watch his fingers. I was very keen on pressing that bright red knob just to upset the operation. Here we go, here's the blistering process. And then having done that, the very same fella does all these jobs. He's the finishing man. He'll stick it now on the cutting machine. There it goes through. Of course, they don't use a pair of scissors, you know. They don't want to cut the fingers. They use this special cutting machine which will stamp out the packaging. Having done that, he then has to stick the many same pads in the same packaging into a box so it can go to the distribution base, ready to be sent throughout Europe or wherever it's going throughout the world. I had a go at this, as you can see. The master himself, look at this. Eh? I had no idea what the heck I was doing, but if I had the coat on and the glasses, I had to have a go. I knew that, honestly. I was just seeing if this guy knew himself what he had to do. Obviously I had several hundred attempts at this, and we end up just about with the right product. Needless to say, they threw that in the bin afterwards. They wouldn't use that to send any brake pads anyway. Now, as always, Paul has to get in on the act, doesn't he? So there he is, shoveling me around the workshop. We had a bit of a laugh actually at Frodo. Bye bye, boys and girls, bye bye. I had to have another go at this. And I failed miserably. So we've moved into the training room now, and I've met Paul Walker here, who's the European sales manager, big commander-in-chief, you know, who makes a mighty fine cup of tea, I might add, of which we had earlier. So then, Paul, Frodo, been going some years. Have you been with them from day one?
No, 97 years less, actually.
Yeah. So they've been going as long as that?
100 years this year, yeah.
Really? Flipping heck. Big celebration in order?
Yes, we've quite a few things planned, actually, inside the factory and outside the factory. Yeah, it's quite an important event for us.
New products to go with the flow, like?
No, new products come along all the time, so we can't wait for every
No, but the stuff that you've got anyway is good enough, isn't it? Because, I mean, the truth being is they are actually, like, #1. They're all over the world, Ferodo brake pads. Yeah. And shoes and such, yeah. Discs now, you're into discs?
Discs, we've recently introduced a range of discs, yeah, which is growing all the time.
And I know from sort of what little information I've received that you are well into research and you do back a lot of race bikes and teams up with your products. Tell us a little bit on that side.
We spend a great deal of money every year on research, both here on this site, and we have a specialist research company based down in the Midlands. And a lot of that, a big part of that programme goes into improving and developing pads and discs indeed for racing motorcycles. I think it's safe to say we're one of the biggest sponsors in the brake world in motorcycle racing.
So go on then, Paul, give us a clue. What we got to look forward to for the future? I mean, you know, there's obviously development all the time. I know that your research is big. So what exciting materials and things can we get for the future?
Well, several companies have got several different philosophies in how the future of disc pad and material is going to go. This is the one that we personally feel is the strongest contender for the future of braking. This is a ceramic matrix composite, a high temperature, high durability matrix. Glass inside and a resin which is very, very strong.
Light, is it light?
It's extremely lightweight.
It is,
yes.
You're right, yeah.
This actually will run from 0 degrees up to 1,000 degrees without any ill effects whatsoever. Its main rival, carbon fibre or carbon reinforced fibre, has several drawbacks in as much it has a very narrow performance band. This doesn't suffer from that.
The carbon ones, they're the ones that we see GP bikes and
this
things
is what you
using.
see on Grand Prix motorcycles and cars, yeah.
Why go down this avenue then? Is it a cost-related thing?
Carbon is very, very expensive, yeah. And the governing bodies of both motorcycle and automotive racing are very unhappy at the costs involved in running that sort of material. So we see this as a more cost-effective, more economical replacement, which is actually far more powerful as well.
I think the biker is keen on the cost. It's a big sort of hit, and it's keep the cost down.
Very, very important.
How long do you think it will be? I won't hold you to it, like, you know, we won't come knocking on your door in so many years' time, but how long do you think it will be before we see this format, this type of material on our street bikes?
We have to fully develop this in racing, which is going to take us certainly the rest of this year and maybe part of next. But I see within the next 3 or 4 years, this will be on road-going motorcycles.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Ferodo have got the finger on the pulse. As you've spoke of, this new fancy ceramic resin-type disc and pad, can we sort of see behind the scenes in the future? Can we get a day trip out somewhere and see this thing in action?
Do you mean seeing it used?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly, if you'd like to come along. Very spectacular it is too.
So you've seen the manufacturing plant, right from the old conception to the birth, and that is the old pad starting with its compound, put onto the backing piece, painted and sprayed, and then blister packed. And now they're boxed up. And then from here, which is the distribution base from Frodo, they go all over Europe. And they're racked, stacks, thousands of them, hundreds, millions of them, for different makes of bikes. Paul, what are you doing here?
I'm after some. He told me, he said on here somewhere, CBR 600.
They're all in order, these, computer logged and everything. You can't be nicking pads or anything like that.
There's millions they make pads.
Forget it, what's he like at all?